Hi, folks. This is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report. I want to tell you about something that I've become more and more aware of, and it's a fun part of my fishing. Each species that we fish for, if we fish for them enough, we'll come to realize that they have a different strike, they have a different battle, they even have a different smell, they have a different look. But this all really becomes important, especially when I'm fishing with somebody else, because I have come to the point where I can almost, it's like Babe Ruth standing up to plate before the ball's even thrown and looking out and pointing out to the outfield and saying, that's where this is going to go. And I think that I have come to the point where I can almost say, whoever I'm fishing with, or to myself, if I want to talk to myself, I can say, wow, that strike, that fish felt like a bass, because a bass will strike different than a pike, and a pike will strike different than a walleye. And a smallmouth bass will strike differently than a largemouth bass. And in following with that, each one of them has a different battle, different characteristics that they use to try to throw the hook. And I can bring it more specifically. And this is how I kind of think it goes. I think a largemouth strike is almost a slower motion, a lazier, a more relaxed strike. They'll come up to something and they'll open up that great big mouth, and there's a suction that takes place when they do that. It's a very quick suction, but whatever's there is sucked in. It's sucked in just like a big vacuum cleaner, and then they close their mouth. And so the strike feels sort of mushy. Okay, now let's go differently to a northern pike. A northern pike is an ambush fish, and they'll lay quietly in the weeds or behind something where they become just part of the environment. Nothing sees them. And then when something comes by, they rush out at full speed, attack, and then go back. They attack when they strike. And you can feel the difference when I'm casting it, and all of a sudden I feel it's like a shocking thunk, thunk. Listen to the words that I'm saying. Words don't do it justice, but it's a feel. And then a smallmouth. A smallmouth is different yet. They're not like a largemouth. They're not quite like a pike, but it's more of a sudden stoppage. It's a stoppage of your momentum of bringing your lure in. And yesterday when I was fishing with my buddy, he had this strike, and before I could even say a thing to him, this smallmouth came rocketing out of the water because he'd hooked it. It came rocketing out, sort of walked across the surface on its tail, if such a thing is possible. And I said, "Oh my God, that's a smallmouth," because we didn't expect it. And the action it took in its fight is so unique and so special. It's why people all over the South know when they come up here fishing that they're going to have a special treat in that they can catch a smallmouth. And so that's how this fish rocketed across the water. And they just don't quit. Smallmouths have so much heart, so much continuation, so much... it's hard to put it in words, but they're a special, special fish. And then there's northern pike. The battle of a northern pike, and people underestimate it. They don't have the longevity, the endurance of a smallmouth. But boy, they can battle. Their immediate run can be so fast and so powerful. And they're just a glorious fish to battle. So the battle, the fight, a largemouth fight's much less powerful than a smallmouth. Granted, if they get to be 4 or 5 or 6 pounds, they got the weight behind them, and they can do things, and they can be a lot of fun to do combat with, but they aren't like either of the other species. But boy, I love them. I love that big mouth sucking in the bait. I love to feel the tick. I love to see the coloration of them as they come out of the water. It's all part of what fishing is for me. It's those two aspects. It's the strike and the battle. And if they beat me in the battle, it's all to the better. I don't mind one bit as long as I can see them and enjoy them and watch what they do. That makes fishing to me. It's not holding them up to a camera. It's not trying to be careful and make sure that they live. It's that initial bang bang part of it, the strike and the battle. That's what makes fishing so much fun. Until next time, folks, this is Don Meisner with the North Country Fishing Report.